I hate being a famous Hollywood celebrity. No matter where I go, I'm never safe. Cameras outside my house, strangers following my car, millions of people online waiting to judge every word I say. Fame was supposed to bring happiness, but all it's given me is fear, exhaustion, and a crushing loneliness I can't escape. I would give anything to have my old life back. I hate being a famous Hollywood celebrity. It still feels surreal to even write that out, like I'm saying something I'm not allowed to say. But I need to. Because no one ever tells you the truth about fame when you're chasing it. You only see the glittering surface, the magazine covers, the red carpets, the cheering fans. You don't see the cracks beneath. I wasn't born into this world of fame. I was a regular kid, watching movies on the living room couch, dreaming of the day someone might look at me on a screen and feel something. I used to practice fake acceptance speeches in the mirror. I imagined the day I'd walk into a room and people would stop and stare because they knew my name. And I worked for it, harder than I can explain. Acting classes after school, driving hours to auditions, taking every tiny gig just to get seen. My parents thought I was crazy, but they let me chase it anyway. And then after so many years, it finally happened. A casting director saw something in me, and I landed a supporting role in a popular show. Not the lead, but close enough to catch people's attention. Suddenly, I was on posters. Suddenly, fans were tweeting about me. I still remember the first time someone recognized me at the grocery store, a girl with a nervous smile who asked for a photo. I played it cool, but inside I was flying. I went home that night and stared at the photo she'd posted online, heart pounding. I couldn't believe it was real. Everything snowballed after that. I was doing press interviews, getting offers for bigger projects, seeing my social media follower count spike overnight. My friends started treating me differently in a good way, at first. They were proud of me, excited for me. My family was over the moon. I felt like I was living inside a dream I didn't want to wake up from. But you know how dreams can turn weird when you stay in them too long? That's what happened. I didn't notice it right away. I was so busy, so high on the rush of being wanted, that I didn't see the warning signs. But they were there, the way people started asking about things that weren't their business, the way strangers on the internet felt entitled to comment on my body, my face, my love life. The first time a rumor about me went viral, it felt kind of funny. Like I was finally important enough to gossip about. I laughed it off. But that was just the beginning. I know this probably sounds ungrateful. I know millions of people would kill to have the career I do. But the truth is, the higher you climb, the more you realize how thin the air gets up here. And how little anyone prepared you for what that feels like. So, after that first wave of excitement, the shift came slowly, like tiny cracks forming in a wall you thought was solid. At first, I was flattered by the attention. Paparazzi outside the restaurant? Wow, they care. Fans waiting at the airport? Cool, I matter. But over time, it started to feel heavy. Like I was carrying this invisible weight everywhere I went. I couldn't go to the grocery store without someone snapping a photo of what was in my cart. One time, I went out for coffee in sweatpants, just trying to have a normal morning, and by that afternoon, there were photos online with people mocking how sloppy I looked. My mentions filled up with strangers critiquing my hair, my skin, my clothes. You start to realize you're being watched all the time. And it messes with your head. There's a kind of paranoia that creeps in. You are always wondering, who's recording me right now? Who's taking pictures? I stopped going to certain places altogether. No more bars with friends. No more walks in the park without security. Even going to dinner became a production. Which entrance should I use? Will there be photographers waiting? Should I just cancel? Social media, which used to be fun, turned into a nightmare. At first, I loved interacting with fans. I'd post selfies, little glimpses of my life, and people would flood the comments with love. But soon, it shifted. Every post became a target. Why does your face look different? You've gained weight. You've lost too much weight. Are you dating so-and-so? If I didn't post enough, people called me cold. If I posted too much, they said I was attention-seeking. There was no winning. The worst part, though? The way people online talk about you like you're not a real person. They speculate, they gossip, they tear you apart, all without a second thought. I remember one particularly bad week when a false rumor about me went viral. Suddenly, I was trending for something I hadn't even done. My team was scrambling to do damage control, and I was at home, alone, refreshing my phone over and over, watching people I didn't know call me a liar, a fake, a disappointment. It felt like drowning in a sea of voices you can't shut off. Behind the scenes, things weren't much better. My team, the people who were supposed to support me, were focused on one thing: keeping me visible, keeping me profitable. You have to post more. You need to be seen at this event. We can't afford bad press. I wanted to scream, I'm not a product. But the truth is, to them, I was. I started pulling back from people. Trust became a luxury I couldn't afford. I didn't know who was genuine and who just wanted access to my life. Friends I thought were close started selling stories about me to social media. Even family members leaked private details. I stopped sharing anything real. It was easier to just stay quiet. Once I started pulling back from people, the loneliness crept in fast. I wasn't prepared for how isolating this life would become. On the surface, I was surrounded by people all the time: stylists, assistants, publicists, directors, fans, reporters. But deep down, I felt completely alone. Everyone wanted something from me, but no one really knew me. No one really cared how I was doing. I would sit in my giant, beautiful house at night and feel like I was sinking. The silence was crushing. I couldn't call old friends. They either didn't understand or they had drifted away, tired of being sidelined by my schedule or my weird, new life. I couldn't trust new people, because how could I know if they were real? Every message, every smile, every invitation felt like it came with strings attached. I started noticing how many decisions I no longer controlled. My schedule was packed months in advance, sometimes years. My team decided which scripts I should read, which brands I should work with, where I should be seen. My image became a brand, and the brand had to be managed. Even when I wanted to say no, they reminded me how many jobs depended on me staying relevant. I felt trapped inside a machine I couldn't slow down. And the fans, I love them, I really do, but they scared me sometimes. Some would show up outside my house, just waiting. Some would send gifts or letters, which was sweet at first until it crossed a line. A few times, people followed me home or tried to break past security. I remember waking up one night to see someone outside my window, just staring. My heart pounded so hard I thought I might pass out. After that, I had to hire more security, install cameras, and put up fences. My home, which should have been a safe place, turned into another prison. I know I sound bitter, but I promise I'm not trying to complain for the sake of it. I just need people to understand that fame isn't what you think it is. It's not just money and glamour and red carpets. It's anxiety, it's pressure, it's a constant loss of control. I lost myself somewhere along the way, and I'm still trying to figure out how to get back. Sometimes, late at night, I wonder what would have happened if I had stayed a regular person. If I had never taken that first acting class, if I had never gone to that first audition. Would I be happier? Would I be safer? Or would I just be longing for something else, imagining that fame would fix all the holes inside me? I don't know. Anyway, just wanted to let this out. I wasn't sure if I was going to post again, but over the past few days, I've been sitting alone, reading through your comments and messages, and I have to admit, I cried. More than once. It caught me off guard, honestly. I'm not the type to break down easily, but seeing strangers offer so much kindness, support, and understanding after everything I shared really hit me hard. I don't usually get this kind of space where people just listen without judging, without expecting something in return. It's been overwhelming and emotional. For the first time in a long time, I felt truly seen, and it's made me want to open up more. Not for attention, but because here, I feel like I can just be real. Thank you so much, kind strangers. Anyway, I feel like I'm allowed to just blurt things out, so here I am. Fame didn't just stop at taking my privacy, it keeps pushing, keeps taking little pieces of me I didn't even know I was giving up. It's like I'm standing in the middle of a crowded room, screaming, but no one hears me because they're too busy taking pictures. A few weeks ago, something really scary happened. I was driving home late from a shoot, exhausted, makeup still on, hair a mess. I noticed a car following me. At first, I thought I was imagining it. Maybe it's just a coincidence, right? But every turn I made, they made. Every stoplight, they stayed right behind me. My heart started racing, palms sweaty on the steering wheel. I didn't want to drive home and show them where I lived, so I started driving in circles, hoping they'd give up. They didn't. I ended up pulling into a gas station, heart pounding, pretending I needed something. I called my security, voice shaking, and waited inside under the harsh fluorescent lights while they arrived. When they finally pulled up, the car sped off. I never saw who it was. Maybe a fan, maybe paparazzi, maybe something worse. I've never been so scared in my life. Since then, I've been more on edge than ever. I barely sleep. I keep the curtains closed, the security cameras on, the alarms set. I even moved bedrooms because I didn't feel safe sleeping near the windows. Sometimes, I wonder if I'm being dramatic, but then I remember all the stories of celebrities who had stalkers break into their homes. I can't afford to be careless. The worst part is, I can't tell anyone how bad it's gotten. My team just tells me to keep up appearances, to post something lighthearted or funny online, to show up at events with a smile. My friends, the few I have left, don't really get it. They think I'm being paranoid, or they just tell me to take a break. But how do you take a break from your own life? After I posted the first part of this story, I sat there reading the comments for hours. Some of you were so kind, saying things like, "You're not crazy," and "You deserve peace." Others were blunt but honest, telling me to leave the industry if it's hurting me this much. I really cried reading some of the supportive ones, just because it's been so long since I felt like anyone was really listening. I don't know any of you personally, but somehow, you get it more than the people in my actual life. Thank you for that. I feel like I'm trapped in a glass box, where everyone can see me but no one can help. I don't know how long I can keep pretending I'm okay. I keep thinking, maybe if I just push through, things will get better. But deep down, I'm starting to doubt that. I'm starting to think this might just be what my life is now. Many days felt like walking on eggshells. Every little thing set me off. I got snappy with my assistant over something stupid, like the wrong coffee order, and immediately felt guilty. I could see the look on her face, that flash of disappointment. It's like everyone around me expects me to be perfect all the time, and when I slip, even a little, I feel like a total failure. I keep thinking about the comments I've been reading here. Some of you said you've been through burnout or anxiety, and honestly, it's one of the only things keeping me sane. Knowing someone out there understands what this feels like, even if we've never met, makes me feel less isolated. It's strange how I have so many followers online but barely anyone I can talk to without it turning into a PR conversation or a gossip headline. The cracks in the image are getting harder to hide. I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror yesterday and didn't even recognize the person staring back. I look tired, older, drained. My skin is breaking out from stress, and my eyes look hollow. There's a part of me that wonders how long I can keep up the public face before the whole thing shatters. Work hasn't let up either. The schedule is brutal, with early mornings, late nights, endless press junkets, photo shoots, meetings, fittings. Every time I think I might get a break, something new gets added. My manager says, "This is the time to capitalize, keep the momentum going," but all I want to do is lie down and disappear for a while. Even when I'm home, there's no real rest. Paparazzi park outside my gate, drones fly over my backyard, and sometimes random people show up at the edge of my property, hoping to catch a glimpse. It's invasive in a way that makes you feel like a caged animal. I keep the lights off more now, just so they can't see inside. I know some people would kill to have this life. And I'm not trying to sound ungrateful. I know I've been given opportunities most people only dream of. But no one tells you how much you lose along the way: privacy, trust, your sense of self. There's this constant balancing act between staying relevant and staying human, and I feel like I'm losing on both sides. Lately, I've been fantasizing about just disappearing. Not in a dramatic way, but quietly, slipping away from all of it. Selling the house, moving somewhere no one knows me, getting a normal job. Can you imagine me working a normal job? I laugh at the thought, but maybe that's the only way out. Spending the whole day doing promo for an upcoming project. Red carpet, interviews, photos, the usual. Smiling until my face hurt, pretending everything was amazing when inside I just wanted to scream. I could feel myself going on autopilot, giving the same polished answers, the same jokes, the same carefully controlled version of myself. It's exhausting in a way that's hard to explain. After the event, I got home and immediately checked the headlines. I know, I shouldn't have, but I couldn't help myself. And there it was, photos of me looking tired and stressed, with speculation about whether I'm spiraling or if there's trouble in my personal life. It's like I can't win. If I look too happy, people say I'm fake. If I look too serious, they say I'm falling apart. I know I shouldn't care, but it eats at me. I read some of the comments under the articles, and I don't know why I do this to myself. Strangers picking apart my appearance, my weight, my outfit, my relationships. It's like they forget there's a real person underneath the fame, someone who feels every word, every insult. I sat in the dark tonight, scrolling through it all, wondering why I put myself through this. I ended up sitting on the floor, back against the couch, scrolling through this thread, reading every single comment you left. Some of you said you're rooting for me, that you've been through burnout or public pressure too, even if on a smaller scale. I didn't realize how much I needed to hear that. It's strange how a bunch of anonymous posts from strangers online can feel more comforting than people I see face to face. I started thinking about the last time I truly relaxed. Not just pretending to relax for a social media post or a photo shoot, but actually relaxed. I honestly can't remember. Everything I do now feels curated, branded, for an audience. Even the clothes I wear around the house are carefully chosen in case someone gets a shot of me through the window or with a drone overhead. It's ridiculous. There's no off switch. I used to love simple things, walking through the farmer's market, sitting at a cafe, people watching, taking a hike by myself. Now those are luxuries I don't get anymore. If I step outside without security, I'm followed. If I post something unfiltered online, it becomes a headline. Sometimes I think about the people I used to know before all this, old friends from school, exes, People who knew me when I was just a regular person. Would they even recognize me now? And the loneliness, it's a constant ache. I can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. Everyone around me is here because of who I am, not necessarily because of who I am inside. That probably sounds dramatic, but it's the truth. I've gotten so used to performing that I don't even know who the real me is anymore. After reading your comments, I thought about writing a journal, just for myself, not for public eyes. Maybe that's the next step, trying to reconnect with the parts of myself that have nothing to do with the spotlight. I don't know. It's just a thought. For now, I'm grateful for this space, for your words, and for the chance to feel a little less invisible. I'm honestly surprised at how many of you wanted me to keep going. I've been reading more of your comments, and it's weird how comforting it is, like having a group of people quietly rooting for me from behind their screens. So here I am again, still trying to figure this all out. The past few days have been a blur. There was another big event last night, some industry event where I had to be on the whole time, laughing at the right jokes, taking selfies with people I barely know, acting like I'm thrilled to be there. The truth? I just wanted to leave after 10 minutes. I kept sneaking glances at the door, wondering if anyone would notice if I just slipped out. When I got home, I sat on the floor again, phone in hand, scrolling through this thread. I'm honestly scared to admit how much I'm clinging to these posts, to you. It feels like the only place where I can tell the truth. I read one comment from someone who said, "You're allowed to step away. You're allowed to be human." That hit me hard. I've been thinking about the word allowed. It's strange how fame takes away your permission to just be. If I gain weight, it's a headline. If I change my hair, it's a headline. If I date someone new, if I leave a party early, if I stay home, it's all a headline. I feel like I've been living under this microscope for so long that I've forgotten what it feels like to make choices just for me, without thinking about the public reaction. I pulled out an old box from the back of my closet. It was filled with photos from years ago, before all this. Me at college parties, hiking with friends, visiting my family's cabin, laughing so hard I was crying. I barely recognized that version of myself. Back then, my life wasn't measured in premieres and ratings and follower counts. I wasn't always waiting for the next account to drop some new rumor about me. Looking through those photos, I felt this sudden wave of grief, like I'd lost something I'll never get back. I missed the girl who didn't care how she looked in every photo, who didn't second-guess every word she said in case it got twisted into a scandal. I wonder if there's a way to find pieces of her again, or if she's just gone for good. Some of you asked why I don't just take a break, disappear for a while. Trust me, I've thought about it. But the machine doesn't stop. There are contracts, obligations, people whose jobs depend on me showing up. I kept thinking about that box of old photos, about the people who used to be in my life. I wonder what they'd say if they saw me now. Would they be proud? Disappointed? Would they even believe the version of myself I show to the world today? I got a call from my manager, going over the next few weeks. More press, more travel, more appearances. I wanted to tell them I needed a break. But the words stuck in my throat. It's like I've trained myself to say yes, to push through, to pretend everything's fine. I don't even know how to express what I'm feeling anymore without sounding ungrateful or dramatic. So I nodded along, made all the right noises, and when I hung up, I just sat there staring at the wall for a long time. I went online again after the call, mostly to distract myself. I ended up back here, reading more comments. Some of you are incredibly kind, telling me I'm brave for opening up like this. Honestly, I don't feel brave. I feel tired and scared and confused. But reading your words makes it feel a little less lonely. A few people shared their own burnout stories, how they walked away from high-pressure jobs or toxic environments. It made me realize I'm not as unique in this struggle as I sometimes think. I noticed a few people asking if I still love what I do. That's a hard question. There was a time when acting was everything to me. I loved the craft, the challenge, the chance to step into someone else's world. But somewhere along the line, it stopped being about the work and became about the image, the machine. I miss when it was just about the art. These days, even when I'm on set, I'm aware of the cameras behind the cameras. The public gaze, the fans, the critics, the gossip blogs. It's hard to lose yourself in a role when you know you'll be torn apart no matter how good you are. I kept thinking about what it would be like to walk away. Not forever, maybe, but just for a while. To turn off the noise, shut down social media. Stop reading the headlines. But then the panic sets in. What if people forget about me? What if the roles stop coming? What if the public decides I'm irrelevant? It's not just a job, it's a whole identity, and stepping away feels like erasing myself. It's such a trap. You work so hard to get here, to build this career, this brand. And then once you have it, you're terrified of losing it. I've wrapped so much of my identity in being famous that I don't know who I'd be without it. It's like fame gives you this shiny armor, but underneath, you're still just as vulnerable as anyone else, maybe even more so. I've realized lately that my self-worth is completely tangled up with how the world sees me, and that's a dangerous place to live. I sat outside for a while, watching the sky. It's funny how even my backyard feels like a stage. There are security cameras, high fences, staff inside. I can hear the occasional buzz of a drone overhead, probably a paparazzi trying to get a shot of me. I wonder what they'd capture if they saw me like this, sitting alone, staring up at the stars, wondering if I'm ever going to feel free again. I keep circling back to the same question: what would happen if I let myself stop? Would I survive it? Would I still be me? I don't have the answers yet. But writing here, telling you all this, it's helping me at least face the questions. I'm trying to be honest, not just with you, but with myself. That's something I haven't done in a long time. After sitting outside for so long, I eventually dragged myself back inside and sat in front of the mirror for a while. I just stared. My reflection didn't even feel like mine anymore. It's strange, you know? Seeing your own face everywhere, magazines, billboards, TV spots, and yet feeling like you don't recognize it when you're alone. I touched my cheek, ran my fingers through my hair, and wondered when I last looked at myself without judgment. Without thinking, how do I look? Will this photo go viral? Will people notice I look tired? I received a lot of calls. My team's calls. I avoided them. I needed space. I turned my phone on silent and read more of the comments here. Some of you were asking if I've tried therapy. Yes, I have. My therapist says I need to set boundaries. But how do you set boundaries when the entire world feels like it owns you? When your face is a product, when your life is a headline, when even your quiet moments can be stolen by a long-lens camera from across the street. Someone commented that I should take a break, maybe travel, go off the grid. That's the dream, right? But even traveling feels like a production. There's no slipping away unnoticed when your face is known around the world. Every airport, every hotel lobby, every restaurant, it's all eyes, all the time. I can't remember the last time I walked through a public space without hearing the whispers, seeing the phones lifted for sneaky photos, feeling the weight of being watched. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining endlessly. I know how lucky I am. I have a beautiful home, financial security, fans who adore me. But I think people don't understand the trade-off. They think fame is just money and glamour, but they don't see the anxiety, the isolation, the way it chips away at your sense of self. You start wondering if anyone around you even knows the real you, or if they just love the version they've built in their heads. I keep thinking, maybe I'll keep writing here, maybe I'll keep peeling back the layers. Because for the first time in a long time, it feels like I'm speaking as myself, not as the version the world wants. And even if none of you know who I am, maybe that's what makes it easier to be honest. It's been a while. I finally managed to be here again. Honestly, at first, I didn't expect anyone to care. I thought I was just screaming into the void. But your messages, your stories, your compassion have been humbling. It's helped me face some truths I've been avoiding for a long time. These past few weeks, I've done a lot of thinking. More than I have in years, probably. About who I am, who I was before the fame, and what I've become. And it's not easy to admit, but I don't like the version of me that fame has created. I don't like that I jump every time a phone notification pings, that I second-guess every word I say in an interview, that I feel a constant pressure to perform, even in my own home. I don't like that I've forgotten how to trust, how to relax, how to just be. Yesterday, I sat down with my team. For the first time, I told them I need a break. A real one, not a long weekend or a quick getaway with a photo shoot on the side. I told them I'm stepping back, that I need to figure out who I am when I'm not working, when I'm not being the celebrity. I won't lie. They didn't take it well. There were long silences, worried glances. Polite, of course, take care of yourself, lines. But underneath, I could feel the tension, the panic about what this means for contracts, for appearances, for money. But I'm doing it anyway. This decision didn't come easy. I sat up late last night, staring at my ceiling, wondering if I'm being selfish. Wondering if I'm throwing away everything I've worked for just because I'm tired. But the truth is, I'm more than tired. I'm drained. I'm worn thin. I've spent years putting on a smile, showing up, doing the work, and somewhere along the way, I lost track of what it means to actually live. I keep thinking back to when I was younger, when I first dreamed of this life. Back then, it was about passion, about creativity, about wanting to tell stories and make people feel something. Now, it's all numbers and headlines and endless obligations. I don't know where this road leads. I don't know if I'll lose everything I've worked for, or if I'll come back stronger, or if I'll never come back at all. What I do know is that I can't keep living like this. I can't keep sacrificing my peace, my health, my sanity just to keep the machine running. I want to wake up in the morning and not feel dread. I want to walk outside without worrying about who's watching. I want to sit in a coffee shop and be a face in the crowd, just for a little while. I want to call my family and actually listen when they talk, not half distracted by emails and planning. Some of you asked if I'm scared. Yes, I am. I'm terrified. Stepping away feels like walking off a cliff, and I don't know what's waiting at the bottom. But I also know that staying where I am isn't an option anymore. I've tried to push through, to keep going, and all it's done is chip away at me bit by bit. I need to reclaim something for myself before there's nothing left. So, this will probably be my last update here. Maybe one day I'll post again, maybe not. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for listening, for caring, for making me feel seen in a way that has nothing to do with fame or headlines or movie posters. You reminded me that there's still a human being under all the noise, someone who deserves kindness, even from themselves. I'm going to log off now. Pack a bag, and figure out what comes next. I don't have a map or a plan, but for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm choosing my own path. I might go somewhere quiet, where nobody knows my name. I might spend some time near the ocean or in the mountains, just breathing, just existing without the pressure to be anything for anyone else. To those of you who sent kind words, who shared your own struggles, who reminded me that none of us are as alone as we feel sometimes, thank you. Truly. You've given me more hope than you realize. Wish me luck.